Welcome to the Trainer Talk, where we discuss topics related to health and fitness to help you gain back control of your health and fitness and become the absolute best version of yourself physically and mentally. Enjoy. So today we're going over the Healthy Habits Nutrition Guide or Handbook. So we went through the Prosper Nutrition certification, and this is the handbook that we got from a nutritionist, Jennifer Broxterman. Hopefully someday we'll be able to have her on here with us. She did offer to come on and give some nutrition advice. Seems like a lot of people's biggest struggle is nutrition. So we want to go through this handbook and just kind of help people learn some different nutritional habits and how they can start applying them to their daily life in a very simple and easy, sustainable way. So first page is what she calls the iceberg of success. So top of the iceberg, and I'll put a picture up in the saved video, but what you see is kind of just the willpower and the knowledge that people have. You know, people just try to push through and stay consistent, and you don't really see everything else that they do or what it takes to actually stay consistent with your nutrition. Mm-hmm. Really comes down to habits, your environment, and then your mindset. The mindset's kind of the biggest thing. So we want to kind of dive into those. There's 7 main things that build this foundation of healthy nutrition habits. So somebody wants to start with the first one. Lauren,
sure.
Go ahead with the.
Yeah, so it talks about eating mostly minimally processed whole foods, sticking to healthy options like vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, whole grains, beans, dairy products with few ingredients, lean meats, fish, shellfish, eggs, natural nut butters, and then you can kind of alter the list to whatever you need to, but those are the main things.
Yeah. So basically, if you want to start eating healthier, one of the best things you can do, or one of the easiest things you can do, is just start shopping the perimeter and picking more whole food options with the least amount of ingredients, the least amount of added, sugars or preservatives, things like that. And you're going to be on your way to a really good, basically moving toward a healthier lifestyle, healthier nutrition, feeling better.
One of the things I thought was cool is for truly natural products, they don't have ingredient list on them. They don't have a barcode on them. You know what I mean? If you go to a farmer's market, it's not. Yeah. It doesn't have that kind of thing on there.
Yep.
So that's kind of how you tell. So
right.
Stay away from those long lists of ingredients.
Right.
Yeah. Second one is planning ahead for your meals and snacks. Having an eating schedule that works based on you and your schedule, your preferences, and then making that so that you can avoid the snacking, the grazing throughout the day, and then kind of selecting your food choices rather than just impulsively eating whatever's in sight. Having conscious choices of, okay, at this time I'm going to eat this meal for lunch. I'm going to have a snack in between lunch and dinner, and then maybe something later. And just kind of make it work for you. Everyone's a little bit different. We all kind of have different routines and schedules. So finding something where you're able to spread out your nutrition throughout the day, so you can get nutrients throughout the day and fuel whatever you're doing during the day.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is come up with a plan for the day the night before. So if you can plan, even if you do your whole week, with nutrition, you could probably plan out at least okay, what am I going to have for lunch all week this week? Or what am I going to have for my snacks all week this week? Which we're going to have some awesome kind of tips for you as we go through this book with snacks and meals. But I always try to plan out my day, everything I do. That way I'm staying consistent and I can fit these things into my schedule. But the next one, drink more water. Try to avoid so much alcohol, juices, and beverages with added sugars. So it's sometimes really hard to just cut out pop, for example. So instead of trying to eliminate something, just simply add in more water intake. So if you wake up first thing in the morning and start your day with a glass of water, you're going to be off to a better start. So it's how can I add some more water in or less sugary beverages? And naturally over time, you're going to wean away from those sugary beverages like pop, stuff like that. So instead of focusing on trying to eliminate things, just simply try to add in more water, and you're going to naturally try to cut out the rest. And usually we tell our clients just shoot for a minimum of around 64 ounces. Typically half your body weight in ounces of water is kind of the gold standard for what you should shoot for if you're somebody that's, exercising and, maybe you're working out regularly. So next one, go ahead.
Yeah, next one, build supporting environments for success. So making your environment, make the healthy choice the easy choice. And that we've talked about that quite a bit before. But that's a huge part of it. With our iceberg of success, environment is one of the bigger ones. So you guys can probably go into that a little bit.
Yeah. As far as the environment goes, just keeping the foods that you're more likely to snack on or that are going to be like really easy to just like grab and put in your mouth mindlessly. You can keep them out of the house completely. That's probably the best option. And then if you do really want something, it has to be intentional. So you have to leave the house to go and get ice cream, or you have to leave the house to go and get those foods. So then there's a little bit of a barrier, a little bit of work you have to do to get to that reward. Or if you live with other people, they're going to have foods in the house. What you can do is just ask them to, one, not leave it out on the counter, so that way you don't see it all the time, and even better, put it up somewhere high, somewhere that's not eye level or like somewhere really low. Have like a designated spot for those kinds of foods and just put them stashed away. So then that way it's a little bit more work and it's out of sight, out of mind. A little bit more, even if you still know it's there, if you're not seeing it constantly, then you're less likely to eat it.
Yeah, there's kind of two parts to the environment part of it. Like, you kind of touched on both. Like, obviously your environment of what foods you have in your house is really important. Like what you have in your fridge that you can visually see, you want to try to stock it with those whole foods, fruits and vegetables, things like that. But then there's also like the relationship side of it. So if you're hanging out with a bunch of people that go and get fast food for lunch every day at work, they like to go out to the bar all the time or something like that, like you're not going to be setting yourself up for success. And we have clients that struggle with that. Like one of the main things that's holding them back from achieving their goals is simply the people that they spend the most time with don't have the same goals and they don't really care about taking care of themselves. So they're always kind of dragging them out with them, or maybe they're, at lunch, like for the bigger businesses in towns, a lot of the places order out, or they'll go get pizza, or somebody will bring in a box of donuts. If you see that, it's really hard to say no. Like if you put a box of donuts in front of us right now, me and you are going to freaking eat some of them.
Oh yeah.
So it's really hard to say no all the time. So you want to try to start surrounding yourself with more like-minded people. And that's where like the gym is so handy, because everybody's working toward a common goal and you can hold each other accountable. That's where that building that supportive environment comes from. Not eating your feelings. This is kind of what we touched on last week. Really, it's an emotional state. A lot of times we're in a certain emotional state, and that's what kind of dictates what we eat. So learning positive coping strategies without turning to food. So we talked about last week, like if you're under a lot of stress or if you're really sad, you're going to kind of want to cope or feel better. What do we do to feel better? We usually have something that we really enjoy or crave as far as food, and usually it's high in sugar, because sugar releases the endorphins in our brain that make us happy. So, and we can relate all these happy times in our life with celebrations. Usually there's always cake or ice cream, things like that. We build that in our subconscious. So if you want to feel happy, you're like, oh, I need to have cake or ice cream or some kind of dessert and I'll feel happy again. And that's where people get down this rabbit hole. So if you can find something else that brings you happiness and stimulates those same endorphins instead of turning to food, that's a very powerful habit to create. So learning not to eat away your feelings, maybe it's, I'm going to go hit a punching bag if I'm really stressed out or angry. I'm going to go for a walk and clear my mind if I'm stressed out and anxious. Try to find some other ways to cope with those feelings. Next one.
The gym is a great way to do that.
100%.
Especially,
we talked about it with the kids yesterday. We went to the high school and worked with a bunch of kids in the weightlifting class. And honestly, one of the best, if not the best, solution to stress, anxiety, and depression is working out,
Yes,
moving weights, picking stuff up, putting it back down.
Yeah, and that's just a scientific fact.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the truth. The next one is eating slowly and mindfully. This I actually just told you earlier.
Yep.
This is something I struggle with a little bit. So it's, sitting down at the table, being present, not having your phone out, watching TV in the background, and it's listening to your hunger cues while you eat. So if you're just scarfing down your food, like I'm going to try not to do in about 20 minutes, you're not going to feel those hunger cues because you're not giving yourself time to feel them. So it's really easy to overeat when you're just
Starving.
Yeah, barely breathing in between spoonfuls.
Yeah.
Just kind of shoveling the food in.
Yeah. So, just sitting down, eating slowly, and then stopping when you're 3/4 of the way full.
Yeah.
When you start to get those feelings of fullness and then not being stuffed.
Yeah.
So you don't want to eat to the point of discomfort all the time.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And we also talked about, I can't remember what episode it was, but like it takes a good 10 or 15 minutes before your gut signals to your brain that you're full. So if you, eat your meal really fast and then you're like, man, I'm still hungry. And then you end up grabbing a snack or eating more, it's because you haven't gotten that signal yet to tell yourself you're full. So if you do think to yourself, oh, I'm still kind of hungry, just wait a few minutes, maybe drink some water. And then if you are by chance still hungry, then maybe have some more, but don't overstuff yourself. Like you said, eat till you're 80% full, more slowly and mindfully, wait a few minutes to get your gut to kind of recognize, send that signal to your brain, hey, we're full, you're good to go on with the rest of your day. Because we've all been there where we eat too much and then we want to crash. We just want to lay down and take a nap. Usually it always happens like Thanksgiving. How many people have a huge Thanksgiving dinner, they have desserts, all of a sudden it's like you pass right out. I do it every single year. But so everybody can relate to that. So yeah, definitely a good tip. But
one thing that helped me was after I'm done eating my food, I just get out of the kitchen.
Yeah, it's good.
Because I eat my food, my dinner table's right next to where I make my food, the stove, all that. So I just go over, eat my food, and then a lot of times if I'm just standing there after, I'm like, oh, this sounds good. And so I'll just walk right over there and grab some more food. But if I'm kind of go outside, go for a walk or go
do something else.
Let my dog outside for a little bit, then it's like, well, it's less convenient. I forget about it. And by that time, I'm like, well, I'm actually not hungry anymore. So that's helped me.
Yeah. And then the final one is staying curious, kind, and honest with yourself. And others too, it's helpful. But building that resilient mindset and healthy habits through just being consistent with your daily habits, being curious about why you have certain habits rather than, shaming yourself into trying. I have a lot of clients that I hear that kind of a language where they're like, they kind of start to shame themselves when they go off track, or they kind of beat themselves up for it. And like, that's not the best way to get someone to do something, even if it's yourself. So like, if you have a kid and you're trying to get them to start a new habit or change a behavior, if every time they messed up, you just bullied them into trying to do the right thing or making them feel like, oh, you can't do this, like you're such a failure, all the things we tell ourselves, but we would never tell another person, hopefully. But we do that to ourselves, and no wonder that we have such a hard time sticking to like a new habit or sticking to a new plan or, exercise and nutrition. So staying positive, kind to yourself, asking yourself, okay, like I just ate 12 cookies. Why did I eat 12 cookies when I only really needed 1 or 2? And it's like, okay, I was sitting in front of the TV. You're able to actually work through and solve the problems rather than just like beat yourself up about it and then get nothing accomplished.
Yeah.
So it's thinking through like, okay, being honest with yourself, staying positive with it, and then just being curious about why it happened and then how you can fix it in the future too.
I think that's really important, because if you could just ask yourself, okay, why did I just eat this whole box? It's probably because you were, like watching a show or you're bored. A lot of time when we're bored, we'll just snack. Like all the time, if I'm just, sitting at home chilling, like it's like, okay, what could I snack on? I do it all the time. So it's like, okay, I was just bored. So instead of eating 12 cookies or a box of cookies, what else could I do? Maybe I'll get some stuff done around the house or go for a walk, something like that, or find something to occupy myself. So really good stuff. So that's the 7 kind of healthy habits to the nutrition foundation. So now we're going to move on to, I love this. I love using car analogies with a lot of different things. So we want you to think of basically the quality of your foods as the different grades of fuel. So, you have your regular gas, that's kind of like your lowest grade. That's going to be more of like the highly processed food. So think of your white, refined, your sugar, your junk food, white bread, white pasta, white rice, sugary cereals, pizza crust, fries, chips, candy, cookies, chocolate, ice cream, etc. So we want to try to kind of label our foods in 3 different levels. DeLauren, I'll let you kind of go over like the mid grade, which would be the step up. With the highly processed stuff, I'll just add before I let you go. This is the stuff that you want to try to limit, maybe like 0. I wouldn't go 0. I would go like 5 to 20% of the time. Yeah. If you can stay 80% with the mid grade to the premium gas or fuel food, you're going to be really, really good shape. And that's kind of what we teach, like 80-20. So, 5, 10, 15, 20% of your foods, if they're in that category, you're still going to be okay. It's okay to have those treats every once in a while, but we want to try to move up to the mid-grade and the premium. So what's the mid-grade?
Yeah, so the mid-grade is the processed whole grain foods with some extra fiber and nutrients added to them. So like some of the breads that you get from the store have those things added to them. They're somewhat nutritious, but still comes out of a box or a package. Some examples would be whole wheat bread, whole wheat pasta, high fiber, low sugar cereals, whole grain crackers. So, I mean, they're like I said, they're in the middle of the pack. So they're better than the white and refined sugars in foods and breads, but it's not the best. So these are some foods that can be, in your diet pretty regularly, but they're not the best option. But sometimes they're easy and convenient.
Yeah.
So it fits in a lot of diets of everyday people. So
right.
Yeah, and then the third one, so it's your premium high quality, and that's going to be, like we mentioned earlier, the whole foods. It's unprocessed, passes the nature test, so it would look the same as if you just took it out from nature as it grew. So like an apple off of a tree, or potatoes from the field, or just meat from an animal. Like, even though that's technically processed because you had to cut it off the animal, but that's technically processing. But we won't get into that. But mostly unprocessed, where it's that whole food, not packaged in a box, doesn't have a barcode or like a label on it. Something on the perimeter of the grocery store would be that. And one thing to touch on all of these, you can think of the highly processed or like the low grade fuel. It'll give you energy and get you where you need to go, but it's going to actually degrade your systems in your car or your body. So like, a McDonald's, French fry, and Big Mac, they'll give you energy to like get stuff done, but over time it's really going to wear down your organs. You're going to gain fat, all these other negative health outcomes, really strain on your heart too. Mid-grade, it's not really going to hurt you having those kinds of foods, but it's not necessarily going to add any super great benefits. It's kind of like that middle ground where it's like, it's not doing anything bad, not doing anything super great, but still giving you that good fuel. And then the high quality is where that's actually going to give you a lot of benefits. So like, think premium high quality, those cars will get better performance and have a lot longer quality of
You
like
could say
mechanics.
you could almost say a lot. Like, I almost say, so like this premium, it's not only going to make your car run better, but you're going to get better fuel economy, and your car's going to last way, way longer. So like this highly processed or the regular, if regular gas, if you went to the gas station, Lauren, with your truck, and I said, if you use this gas, your car is going to run worse, you're going to get worse gas mileage, and your engine's going to wear out faster. Whereas if you get this premium, you're going to have better performance, you're going to get better fuel economy. So instead of 18 miles a gallon, you're going to get 25 miles a gallon, and your engine's going to last much longer. Which one would you choose?
going premium.
Going premium, even if it's more expensive?
Yeah, it's worth it in the long run. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I'd rather pay for some premium gas
And
than
that's
buy
where-
a whole new car
that's-
5 years down the
Exactly.
road.
That's where this whole discussion about, eating healthy is too expensive. Well, it's because there's so many benefits to it. You're literally living longer, higher quality life, reduced risk for disease, more energy, feeling better, better mood. Like there's numerous benefits to spending a few more dollars and eating healthy. So, and just so you guys know that all those examples were for our fuel source, which is our carbohydrates. So where do our proteins and our fats come into play? So think of your lean proteins like the building blocks or the car parts on your car. So you've got, like your lean meats, your fish, your dairy, your nuts, your seeds, hummus, all the stuff that's high in protein. Think of it like your car parts, your tires, your doors, all that kind of stuff. You want to make sure, obviously, that that's kept up, and that's the building block of your car. The carbohydrates we already went over, that's the fuel for your car. And then the healthy fats. A lot of people struggle getting healthy fats too. Think of that like the oil and lubrication. So if you're running your car without any oil in it, it's going to break down very, very quickly. So we need healthy fats. And I also like to say that water is kind of like in that same realm of like the oil for your car. Water for our body is kind of similar. If we don't drink enough water, we're going to break down eventually much, much faster. So that's how we can relate our quality of food to basically our car and our fuel. Next, we have kind of like a macro sheet. We won't probably go too in depth with this. I'll probably just share a photo in the comments of this sheet, but we can go into the healthy plate. So one way that people can start to eat better is simply, if they have a plate, half your plate vegetables, or you could also think of it like one handful of vegetables. So you think of your spinach or whatever your broccoli, have about a handful or half your plate. A quarter of your plate would be starch. So that's like your potatoes, your rice, your quinoa, things like that. And then a quarter of your plate be protein. So protein, you can also think of like the palm of your hand. So if you're having lean meats or something like that, you'd want about a quarter of your plate or a palm of your hand in protein, and then about a tablespoon or size of your thumb in your healthy fats. So if you're cooking with oils, or you're putting like maybe you have a healthy nut butter or a healthy butter, that would be like your fats that you can put over it. So just to give somebody an idea of like, okay, how should I set up my plate? You could use that even on holidays and stuff like that. Like if you're at Thanksgiving, usually they still have some decent options. You're going to have like your chicken or your turkey, obviously. You're going to have your potatoes or your stuffing, and then you'll have usually like a salad. So if you just look at it, like, okay, half my plate's a salad, quarter of my plate's turkey, quarter of my plate's potatoes or stuffing or rice, you're good to go. You're still on a healthy track.
I mean, you could even go out and buy these plates that are sectional with the 2 quarters and a half. Like they sell those at Walmart, I know. So
for sure. Yeah. And then we've got a bunch of different kind of meals and snack options in here, which we could probably share some pictures with people if they want. Just so you guys know, if you are watching this live, we're going to share this healthy handbook with everybody that comments or messages us. So all you got to do is message or comment us, and we'll send you this. But I do want to go into the snack bucket. I figured we can cover the veggie bucket. And then we will also go over the pick 2, make 10, because I think that's really, really good idea. Okay. So touch the veggie bucket real quick. Yes. Setting up your environment.
Yeah, so the veggie bucket, it's a better option than using the crisper drawers, because you're able to keep it in more of like a eyesight. You can keep it on the top shelf. It actually stays fresher if you buy there's special ones that I use, and it keeps my produce fresher for probably 10 times as long. It's kind of ridiculous how I can leave it in there for a week and it's still just as good as the first day. So those are good. I'm on Amazon. But what you do is you go grocery shopping, you get your vegetables for the week, and then you prep them out so that way they're ready to either throw into snack cups for maybe like carrots, celery, something like that, or ready to just throw it into recipes throughout the week. And having that washed, ready, and available, you're much more likely to use them. Remember that you have them, just because if you have a whole head of cabbage or something, and then it takes time to okay, you got to clean it, you got to chop it up, you got to do all these things, versus if you already have it sectioned out, it's a little bit easier to just transfer that, put it right in your recipe, and you're good to go. And then just having the fresh foods like fruit and vegetables available, you're going to be eating more of them, versus if you just don't have any in your house at all, the likelihood that you're going to drive to the store and then come back and then make your recipe is probably not going to happen. So having just healthy options there, available, easy to see, ready to go, make the healthy choice the easy choice, just like in that first foundation of habits. That's really going to help with just keeping you fuller longer. You're going to get more of your vitamins and minerals from the veggies and the fruits. And then it'll also help like your family too, just having something ready to go for them if they want snacks, and have them get a healthier diet too.
Yeah, to go with the veggie bucket in the fridge, it's got a picture of have a hanger for bananas and a basket for apples or oranges or whatever. Having that right on the counter, you're going to see it every single time you go into the kitchen. You're going to be way more likely to maybe I'll have a banana instead of grabbing, a candy bar or whatever it is, or a bag of chips. So, have your veggie bucket eye level right in your fridge. Plus, you can have your fruit right on the counter. Lauren, you want to go over like the snack bucket? You're a big snack guy. Me too.
Snack guy.
So how could we be more prepared with just some healthier snacks, and think of more like on the go too, like maybe for people that are really busy, maybe they need snacks at work, or maybe they run their kids around a lot, things like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you wanted to, planning ahead, like we said earlier, is one of the foundational things, and the snack bucket can help you do that. Pick, a certain amount of snacks you want, like your favorite snack. So for mine, maybe it'd be making a bunch of hard-boiled eggs, and then, those aren't going to last you that long, but maybe throughout the week. So I'll make 10 or 12 hard-boiled eggs. I'll do some yogurt with some granola, maybe some hummus and carrots, and then I'll kind of put these together and have it there, ready, available to take with me, pull out, take it to work in some Tupperware, and just making these ahead of time.
Right.
So making these maybe on Sunday, a lot of people like to do that. And then you can do some more like non-perishable foods, like some nuts, seeds, almonds, sunflower seeds, maybe some dried fruit. You can kind of do a little combo of these in some small containers. And again, you can take it with you wherever you need to go. So they're just there, ready to go. Just makes it easier.
Right. So just have it. Pick out some snacks, have them readily available to you. Put some that are non-perishable. Maybe you keep it right in your car, or you keep it in your office at work in a box or a Tupperware. I like the pick 2, make 10 visual. So basically, this strategy is pick 2 snacks for the week and buy enough to last you at least 1 week. So if you wanted to have, let's say, apple and almonds for a snack, or maybe it's carrots and hummus. So, okay, how much do I need to buy to last the week? And then I'm going to portion it out so that I have enough almonds. Maybe it's a 1/4 cup or an 1/8 of a cup with 1 apple. And I baggie up my almonds. I set my apples out right in my basket. Every day I've got boom, 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 5 days of the week. I've got my apple and my almonds. And then I've also got my carrots separated into portions in the fridge right next to my hummus. So I can grab my bag, grab my hummus, and go. So you pick 2 things, and then you have it available for 10 snacks or 5 snacks, however long you want to go for. It also has examples in here of blueberries and yogurt. It's got examples of I really do, and this is kind of more of the mid-grade, but I do RX bar and banana every single day. I do an RX bar, which is only 5 ingredients, and then a banana, and I get a little bit of protein and fats, and then I also get my carbs. So that's something that's super simple for me. I can just grab it and go every single day. I have it here at the gym as well, so I've got it at home and here. So different ideas to just make this a lot easier.
Yeah.
So.
And it's fairly simple for on the go as well. So busy parents, you got to go to a sports game or something like that. All you need to do is get a protein shake and a banana. Boom, on the go, super easy, just grab and go. We had a little break and we went and grabbed food from the gas station, which obviously gas stations don't have a lot of great options, but it's just about making the best choice available. Ideally, we would have had some sort of vegetables with it, but you can get a sandwich, just like a turkey and cheese plain sandwich, and then I've got jerky, so that way it's a lot more protein. And then that way it's better than just going out to fast food or something like that. But always go for the options Like if you can, bring some fruit or some veggies already packed out. And I mean, you can just get through like long sports days if there's like tournaments or something like that. Just pairing a protein and then some sort of source of fiber and nutrients. So that would be, like your carrots, or you have fruit, vegetables, something like that. Pair it with a protein source, and then obviously some of the sources like the hummus, the almonds, they're not going to have a ton of protein. They're going to still have some protein in there, but you can kind of just be mindful of how much of the nuts that you're eating as well. That's something that's really easy to overeat on. So just make sure that you're portioning out ahead of time. Have your like 1 ounce or 2 ounces of almonds with your snack. Doesn't have to be anything too big, too crazy. And then it's just easier for on the go, staying on track and having those healthy choices available.
For sure. Yeah. And then one last thing that I think I would like to go over is on here we have like a grocery list. And earlier we mentioned kind of categorizing your foods in regular, mid-grade, and premium. So something that's really handy is obviously we make a grocery list before we go to the store. Try to stick to that grocery list. So try not to roam through the aisles like, ooh, this looks really good. This looks really good. Another thing to go with that is don't shop when you're hungry, because you will definitely crave other foods.
Yeah.
But what I would encourage you guys to do is when you're making your grocery list, try to decide what category that food fits into. So, okay, is this a premium quality food? Is this a mid-grade food? Or is this a highly processed food, regular food? So when you're making your list, I would try to maybe just 50% of the foods that you buy premium, good quality foods. Maybe it's 30 to 40% are the mid-grade. And then allow yourself to get, okay, 10% of the foods I buy are going to be just kind of snacks or treats, that regular or more processed foods. So try to like split it up into percentages. Okay, I want to try to have 50% of my nutrition whole foods, really healthy, unprocessed. Maybe it's 30 to 40% is minimally processed, still pretty healthy, but a little bit more than mid-grade. And then allow yourself for those treats, maybe 5 to 10%.
Yeah,
I think that would be a really powerful way to make your grocery list.
Yeah, because a lot of people probably just don't realize what grade a lot of their foods are. So just making that list will help.
Yeah. And an easy way to find out is simply looking at the label. Obviously, we already mentioned, like, if you're grabbing spinach and potatoes and rice and chicken, like, it doesn't have really a label with ingredients. It's just one ingredient. Yeah. So though that's your premium, your whole foods. The mid-grade, if you look at the label and it's got like less than 10 ingredients and there's not any crazy long word that you can't pronounce, that'd be your preservatives, color dyes, things like that. There's not a ton of added sugars. That would be kind of like your mid-grade. It's got a few different ingredients, obviously, like your whole grain, stuff like that, like category. And then obviously your really highly processed, your regular, lower quality is going to be the stuff that's got a lot of ingredients, probably some added sugars, probably some preservatives in there that you can't even pronounce, and maybe some color dyes. I would definitely try to stay away from the color dyes, though. That it's terrible, especially for kids. It's been proven to kind of cause a little bit of like ADHD type symptom, like they just get hyper, and as soon as you cut that color dye out, they actually calm right down and then they're way better. So that's just from personal experience with my brother's kids, which is kind of crazy. So they cut that out and he totally changed as far as that hyperactivity. Yep. So hopefully this helps you guys. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments, message us, stop in and talk to us. Don't be afraid to let us know what you would like to learn more about too. We're always open to ideas. We thought this was really good to go over just because we've had a lot of people talk about their struggle with nutrition, especially like busy parents with kids on the go and stuff like that. So if you can come up with some cool snack ideas that the kids even like, hopefully this helps you guys out. Thanks again for tuning in to the Trainer Talk. If you are ready to gain back control of your health and fitness, we would love to sit down and chat with you to see if we can put together a plan for you. All you have to do is head to taylorhutchinsonfitness.net and book a free consult. Again, make sure you like and subscribe if you like the video, and hopefully we'll see you soon.